How welcome to my review of The Fault in Our Stars, directed by Josh Boone, a romance drama that follows two teenagers with cancer, Hazel and Gus, who slowly fall for one another after meeting at a cancer support group. Okay, so I don't typically review chick flicks or romance dramas, and it's not because I have anything actually against those films, it's just mainly because, well, most of them are kind of crappy. These movies are usually very cheesy, incredibly melodramatic, and just drenched in sap. Movies like Twilight, movies like The Notebook, or anything based upon the Nicholas Sparks novels typically make for very bad films, in my personal opinion. However, this film, The Fault in Our Stars, deviates from the typical norm that we see from movies that are geared towards the young female adult audience. And this film succeeds with such an accomplishment by being surprisingly very authentic. Right at the very beginning of this film felt different, it felt genuine, and the Shailene Woodley character, Hazel, is somebody who is somewhat self-aware, and in fact, if she were to even watch movies like Twilight or The Notebook, she would probably criticize them and say that they're kind of stupid. Hazel is the kind of character who is strong, she's intelligent, and she's not the kind of character who feels the compulsive need to latch herself onto a man in order for her to find some sort of reason to live or to find happiness or whatever that may be. Albeit that this film is indeed a romance drama, that's not all this film is. The romance is really kind of in the background rather than in the foreground. It's really about Shailene Woodley and Ansel Elgort's characters. It's really about them just trying to find somebody else to spend their last potential moments with. And one thing that I must say is that the relationship is very well realized and is nowhere near as sappy as the movies that are in the similar style as this movie is. The relationship does not feel forced, does not feel cheesy, it feels relatively organic, and the film itself does hit some emotional beats that do hit quite well. And not only that, but there is a scene in the film that did manage to make my lips kind of curl down and quiver, but just a little bit though. Now, one thing I will say that I was a little skeptical on at first was Ansel Elgort. I wasn't really quite sure what to think of his performance during his first scene. It seemed kind of awkward, but as the film progressed, he did get much better. I'm actually not sure if that was actually his first scene that he did or not. It kind of seemed that way, but regardless, like I said, he does get better as the film continues to go forward. One of the performances I do want to mention is Willem Dafoe's, and albeit that it is short, I think this is one of his best performances he's given in a while. And the scene that he is in just screams that it's going to be good, and indeed, it is good. But of course, the one shining performance is Shailene Woodley's, and I think she does an excellent job portraying all these elements that I mentioned earlier of her character, and I think she's a great young talent, and I think she's somebody to really look out for in the years to come. However, I do have some problems, and one of which is that the film does get a little sappy, a little overly sentimental and manipulative towards the end of the film. And it's not necessarily bad, it's just kind of like, well, that could have been tightened up just a little bit. Not only that, but there's a scene towards the beginning of the film that features Nat Wolff throwing a tantrum in the background while Shailene Woodley and Ansel Elgort are talking, and to me, the scene doesn't work at all. It just kind of came off as awkward, embarrassing, and just kind of annoying. And lastly, I think the makeup could have been done a little better to kind of ugly up some of its cast like Shailene Woodley and Ansel Elgort, because there are scenes where they're supposed to be kind of sick and very unhealthy, and in fact they don't look sick or unhealthy at all. They actually look quite good, and there's a scene towards the beginning of the film that's kind of unintentionally funny. It's when they first meet and he says something along the lines like, "Oh, you're so pretty," and she's like, "Oh, stop it, no I'm not." And I'm sitting there thinking like, you're gorgeous. Overall, The Fault in Our Stars shows all these stupid romance movies how to do it right. I'm going to give The Fault in Our Stars a good 4 out of 5. As always, I'm Colyn Kirkland, and thank you so much for watching.